It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. I am thankful that you're hanging out with us today. So before we start, I have something to show you. We got our It's the Daily Doug mug in. I did a little short on YouTube, but I got my mug in and we are excited about it. It looks good. It's the Daily Doug mug, and then we get our little double D there, and it repeats it on the back. And we wanted to get these samples in and make sure that they look good before we say that y'all should go get some. But these are available now on our store tab on the channel, and hope that you like them. This is coffee this morning, I promise. So on to the music selection for today. For a few months, some folks have been saying, you know, you really should look into some Supertramp to put on the channel. And you know, I have heard of that group, but I didn't know if I'd ever heard any of their music. And turns out, of course I have, but I didn't really realize it was Supertramp, right? And really, really great sounding music. So I thought, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. So I put on the list the Fool's Overture by Supertramp, and that's the one that we're going to do today. So Fool's Overture is the last and longest track from Supertramp's album, Even in the Quietest Moments, and it was released in 1977. The standout single from that album was Give a Little Bit, right? That one I've heard, right? I can't really avoid that one. But Fool's Overture also received standout notoriety and airplay. I just don't think that I've ever really heard it before. So I'm anxious and eager to listen to it today. The song apparently came together from a few different tunes that Roger Hodgson had been working on, and it sort of came together and it became a collage of these three different tunes, and they put in some apparently some interesting instrumentation and some recorded sound samples, including an excerpt of a Winston Churchill speech, the sound of Big Ben, the clock tower in London, apparently, and also an excerpt from a William Blake poem, right? So this has got a little bit of everything in it, it sounds like. The lyrics apparently are vague and not meant to be taken at face value. So I'm thankful about that. It won't really stop me from trying to figure out what they mean, but that's what I've read. The lyrics are vague and not meant to be taken at face value. Instead, they are intended to spark our imaginations. When I went to program this, some folks said, you know, what you really should do is look at the orchestra version, the version that Roger Hodgson did with a full orchestra. He said back in the day, and he has said for many years, I think, that he sort of envisioned it to be with an orchestra, and he very much enjoyed playing it with an orchestra. So this performance is with an orchestra, and I think a choir and a band as well, from the Night of the Proms tour in 2004 in Europe. So let's dive in, y'all. This is the Fool's Overture, performed by the composer of the piece, Roger Hodgson, who formerly is of Supertramp. So let's hit it. Here we go. It's an E-flat chord, but he's got a Lydian fourth hanging out over it, and then it goes down by a half step to a D minor chord. Huh. Lovely, lovely progressions. Okay, this has my attention. Minor 1, that would be the C minor chord, down to minor 5, G. E flat. Flute. Yeah, there's that E flat, and it goes down to a D minor chord. I'm going to stop for a second. I want you guys to know how interesting a sound that is, how unique a sound that is. If we're in E flat, that is a key that has 3 flats in it, right? And the third flat that we use is the A flat, right? So if we're in the key of E flat, you would hear an A flat in that key if it was diatonic, right? But he's using A naturals, which is why I said a Lydian fourth. It's a fourth of the key, but it's raised a half step from where it normally would be if it was in a major key. And that A natural that we keep hearing over that E flat chord allows him to move down by half step to a D minor chord. So normally, if we're in E flat, they went down from the 1 chord, the E flat chord, to the 7 chord. The D chord, it would be diminished, D, F, A flat, but it's not a diminished chord. It's a D and an F and an A. So really interesting chords. It makes me question what actual key he's going to, because it breaks down E flat as a key center a little bit, makes it a little bit more ambiguous. But I'm digging it so far. Let's keep going. So there's that E flat, down by a half step to D. And B flat to A flat. Lovely instrumentation. Suspended strings. Got some pitch percussion in there. There comes the bass. This is lovely. It's like a suspended A flat chord. It kind of stops. Muted trumpet. Ooh, lovely. Do, 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 T, right? There's Big Ben. They went back, that was a resolution to E flat from that A flat chord, like a 4-1 Amen cadence.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall never surrender.
Ooh. Okay. Oh. Okay. Before that gets any for. Okay. Hang on. Okay. I'm into this. This is really, really cool. So we had a Winston Churchill excerpt from a speech that I believe he gave in 1940. We shall go on till the end. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall never surrender. I think that's as, Britain's deciding if, what they're going to do about World War II. And then you get the chime of Big Ben, and then he's got some synthesizers, I guess, coming in. So let's get back to it. Here we go. Some tremolos in the strings. Oh. Do, do, T. It's an E flat major 7 chord. And those trumpets, those mutes are for color. They're not to actually decrease their sound, even though they do. They're for color more than anything else. The audience is getting into it. Of course, with live recordings, they're always off by like a half beat, right? Yeah, there's that E flat chord. It's like E flat major 7. And it goes down by half step to a D minor chord. It's an interesting sound. Like almost halfway into this track, and he hasn't really sang anything yet. Let's see what that is. There's the tuba. They switch keys. That's down to a 4 chord in that key. landed on what should have been 1 and went down by a half step, and it's dominant to the 3. A minor, I believe, is where they ended up. Makes sense. I'm going to stop for a second before he gets in there. It makes sense. I mean, I read that he put together this from disparate existing tunes that he had been working on, so it makes sense that they would move keys and move textures and move styles almost to different areas. So we're going to keep rolling with this. History Recalls is what he just sang.
Great the fall can be while everybody's sleeping. The boat put out to sea.
It's a ascending 5th progression
of time.
for this one.
It seemed the answers
He
were
switched
so
it up.
easy to find.
What a
Too
voice.
late,
So that was 1 to 4.
the prophets cry. The island sinking.
Down to
Let's
3,
take to
which would be the relative
sky.
major. I mean, there's a whole tone to get out of it.
Called the
I
man
believe that was a high C.
and stripped him
Amazing
of his
vocal
pride.
color from Roger.
Everyone was laughing up until the day he died.
Yeah, this is back into that descending 5th progression.
Although the wound went deep, well, still he's calling us out of our sleep, my friends.
Lovely.
We're
Lovely.
not alone.
Still, he's calling us out of our sleep, my friends. We're not alone. He waits in silence to lead us all home. Harp. This is a large
So you tell
orchestra.
me that you find it hard
Full symphony orchestra.
to grow. Well, I know, I know. And you tell me that you've many seeds.
Yeah, that background note.
to sow.
C.
Well, I know.
Is a B natural over that. Whoa! Cool. Okay. Chromatic third shift. Another chromatic third shift. Got a choir. Huh. I believe, I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but I have the lyrics here, y'all. And it says, and did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green? And was the holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? I believe that's the William Blake poem that was alluded to in my read-in. Really, really an interesting way to put together a piece. I'm going to keep rolling. Back to that synthesizer in the original key, E flat. Audience clapping on the offbeats while they're trying to clap on the downbeats. Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you see the parts that I'm playing? So you found your solution. What will be your last contribution? Live it up, rip it up. Why so lazy? Cool. Give it out, dish it out. Let's go crazy. Got my daily dog. Let's go crazy. I mean, listen to that. Lovely. This is a reprise of some of that original idea. They went to, I'll be darned. Wonderful, wonderful. Musically, though, is that Andre Rieu conducting? Musically, though, they landed at the end in D minor, a key that they had never been in for the entire piece. They had never been in that key, and it's just, here's an A7 chord, and here's a D minor chord, and thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Fascinating, fascinating. So let's dive into these lyrics a little bit and see if there's any semblance of meaning that we can take from them. It's called Fool's Overture, right? And he's bringing in historical stuff. He's bringing in this Winston Churchill speech from 1940, when, stuff was about to go down. And he's got this excerpt from William Blake. I think he also put in an excerpt from some of Holst's The Planets. I think the Venus movement. And you've got the Big Ben clock tower from London. And it says, history recalls how great the fall can be. While everybody's sleeping, the boats put out to sea, borne on the wings of time. It seemed the answers were so easy to find. Too late, the prophets cry. The island is sinking. Let's take to the sky. Called the man a fool, stripped him of his pride. Everything was laughing up until the day he died. And then at the end, can you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear the parts I'm playing? Holy man, rocker man, come on Queenie, Joker man, Spider Man, blue-eyed meanie. It's really fun poetry. So you found your solution. What will be your last contribution? Live it up, rip it up. Why so lazy? Give it out, dish it out. Let's go crazy. I think that he's using these messages by people in our recent history that are recorded or written down for us to look at and to listen to and to experience. These are messages by people he may think of as prophets, right? People that may have been misunderstood in their present day, or even thought of as fools themselves, but could see some threads through which, they could see something happening in the future that they were warning us potentially about. So I think the overall message is simply seize the day, y'all. Recognize the messages, heed the messages, and the wisdom of those who have experienced life before us and have passed down some of their experiences and their warnings for us. And, he says, why be so lazy? Let's give it out, dish it out. Let's go crazy. Let's do it, right? Let's act on the wisdom of those that came before us and get to it, I think. Don't be a fool. Maybe is what he's saying. That's about all I've got, I think. But wow, the sound of the music is incredible. I'm really, really taken by Roger's writing, his harmonic sensibility. It really, really is fascinating. And I don't take it for granted that, you know, they're in E flat to start out with, and then they move to A natural, A minor in that middle section, a tritone away, right? And then they get back to E flat, and it's just these tritone, these temp pulls that are just sort of, you know, keeping everything, you know, taut and in line. And then at the end, we resolve into D minor, and we're off on a new path. And the piece ends, and it's up to us to keep going and to seize the day. Maybe. That's what I think in real time as I listen to that. I am very pleased to have included some music from Roger Hodgson and historically Supertramp on the channel. So wonderful, wonderful stuff. Thank you all for being with me today. We got more good stuff coming up next time, but for now, that's it. And we will see you next time on another edition of the Daily Doug.